All right, welcome, everyone. My name is Joey Laswell, otherwise known as the Fire Social Worker, and I am here. I am here, just so you know. And it's been a minute. It's been a bit of a minute. And this is actually going to be a audio-only podcast, so it'd be interesting to see how this goes. But I just wanted to welcome everybody back who has been a long-time listener, and also welcome new people. So, just a little bit of a recap. My name is Joey. I'm a social worker and a veteran, creative dad, husband, and really I'm just a human being trying to do my best. If you're new to the show, this is basically where we talk about the intersection of social work, mental health, financial independence, creativity, and meaning. And if you've been following the journey, first of all, thank you, because it means a lot. There's a lot of podcasts out there, and the fact that you have taken the time to listen to mine, I don't take that lightly, and I really do appreciate it. So this episode today, we're going to talk about just kind of catching up. I've been off the mic for this show for a while, and just wanted to catch up with everybody. And life has been busy, but I'm still working towards FIRE as a social worker. So that is still my core mission. This whole podcast is kind of built around that idea. But things have evolved. Things have changed. I've changed. My life has changed, and it's just there's a lot going on. But I'm just gonna give you guys a little heads up on what is on my plate, where we're headed, and just keep you guys in the loop. All right. So a lot has happened since I started the podcast, for sure. If I'm going back to episode 1, if you guys actually are, have listened to everything, I was just crazy, motivated, excited. I was doing the Fire Social Worker show live. It was a lot, and I realized looking back that I had a lot of things going on, and I didn't really have a kind of a tunnel vision. I had kind of a macro vision, but yeah, so basically within the last time I recorded, I changed jobs. So I was at a juvenile treatment facility. I really enjoyed working with the youth, but it wasn't ultimately a great fit for me long term. And then I found out about this nonprofit therapist role with a little company called Main Up Memphis, and they're basically doing mental health work, but then also financial literacy training. So that really piqued my interest. That's where my work has been, which has really opened up a lot of doors, because now I've co-facilitated a mental health workshop, which was really exciting. Got paid for it, so that's nice. And I actually created, or I have created and will continue to create and curate their podcast, the Main Up Memphis podcast. So stay tuned for that. Let's see what else. I did finish the social worker graphic novel, and it kind of has evolved. So I did the 10 episode, I guess you would call it 10 series writing piece. And that was really fun. I really, it was just kind of it was an initial idea of what if a social worker got superpowers. That was it. That was as far as I thought initially. And then it just kind of slowly evolved and got more intricate and detailed and nerdy. And so, it's just been a really great experience. And I just love that, I feel like a bit of a responsibility to highlight social workers in a more positive light, and that's kind of what has been motivating me. Well, I finished it was kind of like an experiment, like Stephen King when he wrote The Green Mile, and I had a blast with it. And then when I was kind of like messing around with editing, and I was like, I kind of want to expand some of these stories out into more, like originally I was thinking of an actual graphic novel. So like each chapter, or each segment would be a chapter, and it would be really, I don't know, it'd be kind of cool. So it really started with just branching out, expanding the storyline a little bit, and then it kind of took on a life of its own. So yeah, so that's happening. I actually have reached out to an editor, and she's going to edit the book, which I say book, but it's really more of a novella. It's pretty short, or relatively short. I think it's right under 100 pages. So, yeah, I mean, it's crazy how things are happening. But, a lot of it is because of all the networking that I've been doing. I've been reaching out to people and connecting with people on LinkedIn and other group masterminds. And, man, it's a lot, but it's been really exciting. But, yeah, this is it's a personal project. It's very cathartic. And, I mean, if I'm just kind of excited that it's cool. It's like the kind of thing that I wish I had growing up. Somebody that actually was a healer, somebody who could actually help people, but then do it at a larger scale with superpowers. So, yeah, so that's coming. It's coming down the line. So get ready. I'm excited. And it kind of ties into my video game concept. So originally I had mentioned, I think on my Substack and other platforms, that I was going to create a video game called Wealth Quest. And it's still working, still happening, I guess. But then I kind of pivoted into creating a open world type of game based out of Memphis, Tennessee. And it would basically be the social worker's story, just set in an environment like Memphis, and a realistic kind of game, like Grand Theft Auto, but instead of hurting people and beating people up, your mission is to help people, and you can be creative, you can be direct, you can do all these things. And yeah, so that's kind of the premise. I was just like, okay, maybe I can bring my game or my idea into a video game world. And so it kind of spiraled into that. And then, interestingly enough, I reached out to a developer out of Memphis who has created Memphis, Tennessee, in photorealistic renderings in Unreal Engine, which is a video game engine. And it's amazing. Like the amount of stuff that he's done is amazing. So I've actually reached out to him, and we are working on a potential partnership to build a video game based out of Memphis, Tennessee, about a social worker who gets superpowers. So yeah, that's pretty dang cool. So I don't know. It's just been a crazy thing, and I'm just excited. But yeah, it's a lot of stuff's happening, and I just can't wait. I can't wait. All right. So I like I said, I do have a lot of projects. Really, they're all kind of in the same vein and the same mission. It's really just to help people heal, grow, reclaim their future through finances, mental health support, and creative storytelling. So that's what's going on. That's what's happening. That's my mission. So another thing that came up, and this is kind of, this has nothing to do with social work, honestly. This is really just has been a fun side hobby project idea that I just kind of ran with. I pitched it to a few people, and they were like, yeah, that's cool. You might have something there. So I went ahead and bought the domain, and the idea was really out of actual real life experience. Is that my wife and I were looking for a movie to watch, and we had all these different streaming apps and platforms, and we just couldn't make up our mind. We couldn't pick a movie, and we were just scrolling, and we just couldn't make a decision. And I just had this idea, kind of a light bulb moment, where I was like, I wish there was a way that you could have all of your streaming services in one place, and you can have an AI algorithm or just an algorithm that will essentially pick a movie for you based off of your likes, interests, and all this other stuff. So I thought it would be really cool if we could import people's Letterboxd account, which for those of you who don't know, Letterboxd is kind of like a social media for movies, cinema. And it's something that I've started, writing some movie reviews and, just using it for my own personal documentation of my movies. And I was like, man, if I can get access to that, turn my interest into an algorithm, then I can just basically like Spotify or Pandora. It's essentially like, hey, if you're in the mood for a martial arts film, here's something, and here's how to watch it, and it basically pulls the you log into your existing social you log into your existing streaming accounts, and then it essentially pulls out, it's like, hey, this is the movie, and then it just brings it up. So that's kind of the idea. It's called Blockflix. I don't know if that's legal, but I went ahead and bought the domain anyways, blockflix.us. And it's kind of an homage to, I kind of joke that if Blockbuster and Netflix had a baby in 2025, this is what it might look like. So it's part of my passion for movies, part of, solving a practical problem. And yeah, I actually connected with a veteran who does coding and does stuff like that. So he's actually on board to help me build something. And then, if it actually succeeds, then who knows? It might go somewhere. But yeah, so that's actually been kind of fun and exciting. And then last but not least, I am working on creating an umbrella structure for all of my creative endeavors. I'm calling it Lastwell Studios, kind of a play on my name, Lastwell, and kind of an inside joke that a lot of people butcher my last name, and so that's, just kind of a fun little inside joke. But yeah, it's going to be a media company, and it's going to house all of my creative projects, so videos, photography, podcasting, and then the video game. So yeah, just dreaming big, but also trying to structure things in a more, just a better, more efficient way. So yeah, so that's a lot. So I do have the website domain for that. Trying to build that out, and books. I self-published a book about fire, of course. Yeah, so it's the Fire Formula. It's on Amazon Kindle. So eventually I would like to do a print version, but we'll see, one step at a time. All right, well, that's basically where I'm at now, what I'm working on. So let's talk about what is coming for the next, let's say, the next 12 months. So the biggest thing right now is clearing off some debts. I sold a house that I had with my ex-wife, and so got a little bit of money back from that, but not as much as I would have liked. So I'm using that to pay down debts, working on growing my financial coaching, and then also just create like a solid financial foundation so I can build all these crazy projects without burning out. So the next thing, working with my editor to finish my book, and also I do want to create an MVP for Wealth Quest, the financial literacy game. And I'm thinking, and this is just me thinking out loud, but I was actually thinking about incorporating some financial literacy elements into my social worker game. So basically you would have to actually manage a budget. You'd have to spend money on things, and I don't know. It could be something, but it reminded me of Fable, especially Fable 2, where you had to, basically buy properties and manage them and, spend money. So it could be something, but we'll see how it goes. And yeah, I guess, I'm also trying to build intentional connections with people, networking and really connecting with like-minded people. And I actually am a founding member of an organization called the Ripple Collective, which is kind of a collection of like-minded social workers who are interested in building wealth, talking about wealth, but then also helping people at the same time. So it's kind of a unique little niche, but I've already made some great connections, had some great conversations in that group, and I'm just over the moon excited to work with them. That's actually how I found my book editor. So, for those of you out there, social workers, start networking. I'm sorry, it's just the way it is. If you want to connect and find amazing connections, you're going to have to network. So, hate to break it to you, but you're going to have to do a little bit of networking. So that's kind of where the future is heading. That's basically the update. The fire is still burning. Mission is evolving, but, at its core, I'm still just trying to use every tool I've got. Social work, financial literacy, storytelling, creativity, innovation. And I'm really just trying to help people become more free, live fuller lives, be more empowered, all that stuff. It's just what I'm trying to do. So if this kind of resonates with you, stick around, subscribe, share the podcast, reach out. If you want me to be on one of your podcasts, I would be honored. And if you want to be on my podcast, I would be honored. So yeah, let's connect. I love sharing people's stories. And at this point, you don't have to be a social worker. If you have something cool, something that's going to change the world, I want to highlight it. So I will open my doors to non-social workers, and just tell people stories. We got some fireworks going on. So happy 4th of July for everybody. Before this gets too loud, I'm going to go ahead and say goodnight. Talk to you guys later, and catch you guys on the next episode of the Fire Social Worker